Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about what Gimple had to say on The Walking Dead and stuff like that, because he did an interview like 2 or 3 days ago. It was on the 19th, so whenever that was. It was this week, and it was with The Hollywood Reporter, so I will leave a link down below if you want to read everything. I'm just kind of summing up things that he said, but he talked about the Walking Dead universe, obviously, and talked about how the Walking Dead, or the show, or why I guess the show's ending, and also went into more mythology coming to The Walking Dead after the CRM. So I want to talk about that and just see what's going on with all that. So before we go any further, obviously this will contain spoilers for things Walking Dead related, but also if you are new to the channel and you want more Walking Dead content like this, just make sure to be a subscriber. Now, I do just want to say thank you guys for all the, all the support and all that on Instagram and all that. And yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of scary times right now, but things are looking good. I don't really know how things are going right now, but it's just personal family stuff and all that. I don't know what is wrong with this year. I really don't get it. It's so stupid, but things seem to be going better. It seemed pretty scary about 2 days ago, and yeah, all I can say is that all the news that I've been getting so far, everything's been a lot more positive, and it's just, yeah, I'll take that. Let's just go with that. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys for all the support and stuff you're showing on Instagram and all that. And yeah, anyways, let's talk about The Walking Dead. So Gimple did say that there's going to be more mythology coming to the show, and like the CRM is one thing, but we're going to be getting more stuff after the CRM is done, I guess. So I really do think Gimple has a lot of plans. I think he has a lot of ideas on where everything could go. He just has to wait and see if these things can happen, because it really is, I guess he's relying more on AMC, right? Because they make the final decision at the end of the day. If he's able to pull this off, then he's going to pull it off and he'll do it. Of course, obviously the actors and all that, like a lot of things have to come into play if he wants to execute an idea. So I think he's just, he has a lot of ideas. He's mapping a lot of stuff out, but we'll just wait and see if we can do all of that. And so I do like that. I do like the idea that he is mapping a lot of this stuff out and that we can get Walking Dead stories for a very long time, because the CRM mythology really is like the first kind of mythology we've had on the show. It's really the first thing that is like connecting a lot of things, really going back to season 7, I guess, with the show and the spin-off, how it connects into it and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of deep mythology here with the CRM, and it's kind of cool, to be honest. It's cool that Gimple has worked all this stuff out and is introducing all this stuff more naturally. Like, I want this stuff to come faster, but he is introducing it pretty slowly. It is pretty natural into the story where it makes sense and it doesn't feel like a different show, right? Like, you could say it does feel like a different show a little bit, but it doesn't really too much, because this stuff is more affecting the universe and like World Beyond. Like, World Beyond feels very different than what The Walking Dead used to be, but the show still very much feels like the same show, because you don't have a lot of these elements still attached to it, right? There's little things here and there, but the Commonwealth is where things are going to get a little crazier, because they're going to be in apartments like what Elizabeth Kublik had, right? Like, we're going to see Daryl in places like that. It's just going to be too weird, but that's what it is. That's what the Commonwealth have, and so that's just what we're going to see. It's just stuff like that, and I really do hope that there's more stuff coming out there, and I obviously there is. I can't wait for, I mean, right now we're dealing with the CRM stuff. We're going to deal with that with the Rick movies and solve a lot of this stuff, but I really can't wait to get to the next part. Like, what is the next thing coming up after that? We're not going to know for a while. We're not going to know for about 4 or 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years, probably. Like, it's going to be probably later on in this decade where we start to touch and get into that kind of stuff, because we're still dealing with this, and we're just learning about the CRM right now. We're just learning small details right now on World Beyond, right? And we still have to get that Rick movie, which is coming out probably in 2 years. So we're still very early on in all of this, but once that Rick movie comes out, we'll be in the heart of it, and then I'm sure it'll end within the next couple of years. Like, within 5 years, I think the CRM arc will probably end for the most part. I think they'll still be around, but the big parts of it will probably be over, and then we'll just see where we go from there, right? So yeah, later on in this decade, but there will be some seeding beforehand for sure, because Gimple actually said that all the mythology for the CRM and World Beyond came to him around season 6 and 7. That's when he started to plan everything out. He started working out some ideas, and you can definitely see how it did come to him, because in season 6, I think the episode was called A Larger World, or maybe I'm thinking of the comic or the volume. But there's like a larger world, which is like the introduction of the hilltop and all that, because it's not just this one little community that you have, Alexandria. There's a bunch more communities here. So there's the kingdom, there's the hilltop, and then there's the saviors and stuff like that, right? And then the show introduced a lot more with the scavenger base and Oceanside. Oceanside we did get to in the comic, but that was like later on. It didn't all happen in one season like it did in the show. Oceanside was actually introduced, I'm pretty sure, during the Whisperer arc. I think it was like really early on, or it was like later on in All Out War, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know why I forgot. It was something like that anyways, but yeah. Gimple also said that he's looking very hard at animation for Tales of the Walking Dead, so that's good news because they can do a lot with animation, and I like animation, so that's really good because there's a lot of stories you can probably do there, right? Like there's going to be a lot of things that you can't do because like Michael Rooker said the other day that he's not really interested in reprising Merle because there's not a lot you can do there. Well, you could do, even if you wanted to, just because, the actor didn't want to come back, just do like this silent film animation thing with the character. I think fans would at least appreciate something with Merle, right? If the actor doesn't want to come back, do something. You can be a little more artistic and creative with it. You can do like this black and white sort of like silent film like thing with Merle and what happened to him on the roof and how he eventually got back. You could do something like that. It'd be a little weird to watch, but if you wanted to, I mean, it's an idea anyways. There's a lot of possibilities when it comes to animation, especially like I've talked about this a lot, but like what if scenarios. If you want to go into that, there's a lot of ideas there. There is a lot, right? Like you could do like what if Shane was around during the Savior arc? What if Shane was around during the Whisperer arc? What if Rick wasn't taken in the helicopter? You can actually have Rick in the Whisperer arc, and you can actually do that with animation because it'll be really hard to get Andrew Lincoln to come back, but just do it like that, and you can kind of see how things would work out. Or like or what if Carl never died? You can do stuff like that. So animation, what if stuff, there's a lot you can do there, and that's where I think the show Tales of the Walking Dead, whenever that does come out in 2 or 3 years, like that show is going to be a really great show because there's a lot of possibilities here. He also did say that AMC is the one that made the call to end the show after season 11. Apparently I guess AMC, Angela Kang, they had a bunch of discussions about The Walking Dead and stuff, and I still want to know the reasonings for why to end it. I don't think we'll know that for a few years. Like after the show is over, then I think we'll know why. This is something that we'll learn in like 10 years after the show's over. They'll be like, yeah, it's because of this, that things are going like this, so we just figured, and we'll do this with spinoffs, and it'll probably be more successful. Like I want to know the thought process behind all of that. But in my opinion, and I've said this for a while now, I think that it's smart that AMC did that just because you don't want the show going on for 14, 15, 16 seasons. And I thought it was going to go that long. And so if you end it beforehand and like with season 11, it's good. Then you can do spinoffs and you can do other things. And I think it makes you look better. Like you're not just like really wanting The Walking Dead to live on for a very long time. It just looks like you're actually, because then it just makes sense. The Walking Dead is ending with its comic material. Everything else you're doing on top of that is just expanding on top of it. So I think, and you also have a lot more freedom. I think you could probably make a lot more money off of shows and doing stuff like that because you don't have to pay for the entire cast and for all these settings and all that. So your budget, well, the show just won't suffer as much, right? Like you can have a lower budget. You can do whatever you want, bring the actors that you're going to bring in. Obviously, new actors and stuff like that will be paid much lower. And you can just do different things with the story. You don't have to have those sets and just, you know what I mean? So I think it makes sense. I think overall, all of it makes so much sense. And so that's why I'm excited. And I do think, like, I've seen it in the comments. I've seen it from just everybody. Everybody is very sad that the show was ending, but they are very excited as well because it's like, okay, now we're going to get a proper ending and we'll just see where it goes because everyone's really excited for the Daryl and Carol spinoff, the Rick movies and stuff. So it's not like The Walking Dead's going anywhere. There's going to be a lot to talk about. So I'm just really interested in what's going to happen after the CRM. Like, obviously, we won't talk about it too much because we have no idea. It could really be anything, but I am interested in that. And I think what that's probably going to be is like other countries, stuff like that. Like, I think it could be Canada or like places across the ocean, right? Places in Europe and all of that. And I think it's going to be stuff like that comes into play and stories over there. If people travel over by boat or by a ship and stuff like that, just like what's going to happen with that? Is there going to be like these country wars and stuff like that with zombies? Like, are we going into that? Is it going to get that big? You know, like you never know. You're talking about a society trying to rebuild itself because the entire world just shut down. Of course, things like that are happening or are gonna happen, right? So yeah, we'll have to wait and see where it goes, but I am excited for all of this. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. So post all your thoughts down below. What do you think could happen after CRM? What do you think makes sense threat wise and for the story? Because you don't want them to go too crazy yet. Like, obviously there's not going to be something like aliens and stuff like that, right? But where do you think they should go after that? Do you think they should even go as crazy as like having zombies or walkers, I guess, mutate and stuff like that? Do you think they could do things like that? Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.